Back to Congress, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer is now saying he believes Democrats will hold the Senate majority again in 2024, with a lot of tough races ahead there. Joining us from Capitol Hill, NBC News senior national political reporter Sahil Kapoor with more on his one-on-one interview with Senator Schumer. Sahil, good to see you this morning. What else did you learn?
Hey, Willie. Well, this was quite a bold prediction from Chuck Schumer, the Democratic Majority Leader, who was visibly beaming with confidence when I sat across from him in his Capitol Hill leadership office after that 2022 election. It was expected to be a rough map for Democrats. They were expected to lose their 50-50 majority. They ended up gaining a seat and expanding their majority. Now, looking ahead to 2024, it's going to be an even tougher map. And yet, Chuck Schumer said Democrats will absolutely hold their Senate majority in the 2024 cycle. It's coming off the blue wave of 2018 when Democrats did exceptionally well. And I asked him why, what makes you so optimistic? What makes you so confident about this? And he cited two reasons. The first is that he said a number of new laws that Democrats have passed over the last couple of years will start to take effect. People will see the benefits. More infrastructure will be built under that law. More jobs will be created under the CHIPS and Science Act. And he also said that the new benefits to lower prescription drug prices will take effect, and that's something Democrats can campaign on. The second thing, and let's put this on the screen here, he talked about the so-called MAGA influence on the Republican Party. He says, quote, "The MAGA influence on the party will not go away quickly. They're very strong. They're very active. They're hard right." And he went on to tell me that he expects that influence to persist within the party, even if Donald Trump is not the presidential nominee in 2024. So he said you add those two up, he feels very confident that Democrats can defy gravity yet again in 2024 and hold the majority. Now let's put up what he's up against. Let's put this map up. Democrats are defending more than 20 seats across the country. Again, it's coming off the 2018 blue wave when they did very well. This will be a presidential cycle where waves are very difficult to produce, as we've seen lately. Some of these seats that Democrats are defending are in safe red states that Republicans are expected to carry quite comfortably on the presidential level. That includes West Virginia. It includes Montana. It includes Ohio. There are several gray on the map. Those are states that are, where there are independents who mostly caucus with Democrats. One of these is Arizona. Senator Kyrsten Sinema recently left the Democratic Party. She said she's not going to caucus with them, but will continue to get her committee assignments through the party, which will keep the organization of it. But this also presents another dilemma for Democrats, because do they support Kyrsten Sinema to try to defeat the Republicans, or do they support a Democrat and potentially risk a three-way race that could split the vote, that could end up throwing that Arizona race, which they view as a must-win, to Republicans? And by the way, Schumer still has not, tapped a DSCC chair to run the campaign committee. There are not a lot of Democratic senators who are leaping out, raising their hands for that job. It will be a very difficult one.
Hey, Sahil, it's Jonathan. Let's talk a little bit about, if you will, some of the hardest seats to hold. And these are some of the states that went for Donald Trump twice by big numbers, sort of rural red states, and in particular, Montana, West Virginia, and Ohio. We know a lot about Joe Manchin and his sort of independent streak within the Democratic Party there. But what's the contours right now of those three states in particular? It's probably the hardest for Dems to keep.
Absolutely. Those three will be the most difficult for Democrats to hold on to, because you have three Democratic incumbents who have essentially been defying gravity for several cycles now, who have been defying the red lean of their state and winning. There's, of course, Joe Manchin in West Virginia. There's Jon Tester in Montana. These are popular incumbents in small states. That helps. They are very well in tune with their states. They have a record, more so than most Democratic senators, of breaking with their party, especially on rural issues that are important to their constituents. Tester has not said he's running again in 2024, although he sounded quite confident that he'll win if he does, which could be an indication. Joe Manchin has also not officially announced, but if you look at everything he's done over the last 2 years, he's been trying to stay close to his constituents. And then there's Ohio. Sherrod Brown. This used to be the quintessential swing state. It has trended more and more toward Republicans as demographic changes, particularly non-college educated white voters, move firmly in the Republican tent. This is going to be a very tough cycle for Democrats in Ohio. They haven't won there statewide in a decade. Nobody not named Sherrod Brown has been able to win that state. And, these three, I would say, Jonathan, are the Democratic unicorns. It's very difficult to imagine any other member of their party who could win either of these three states. Chuck Schumer is going to need all of these three men to run and to overperform the ticket once again in order to hold these 3 states.
Democrats had about a week to celebrate the midterm elections. Now on to 2024. NBC's Sahil Kapoor, thanks for your reporting and bringing us that interview with Majority Leader Schumer. Good to see you.